Hello, today I would like to talk to you today about a film by Paul Haggis called Crash. The film, in its variety of A-list actors, matches itself with the amount of conflict that takes place in this film. There's an extreme amount of conflict that takes place that what appears to be a racial conflict, but I think that it's more of a human nature conflict. You seem to have all of these characters who have their own perceptions of different races, and therefore they apply their own philosophies behind it. I don't necessarily think that the director was trying to portray America as just being totally racist. I think that he was trying to portray human nature in that it's just what it is. It is what it is. What's interesting in this film is the forced change that takes place between two characters. For an example, there's a part where the LAPD officer is trying to save the African American wife of another character that previously they had an altercation where the officer pulled the couple over, had put his hands physically all over the wife, and now there's a point where the officer is actually trying to save the wife, and you can see this conflict resolution between the two where, you know, it's almost brings out the human nature of just wanting to save another person's life, where their issues between race just seems to dissipate throughout the film. Another forced change event that I particularly took notice to was when the district attorney's wife, who seems to be mad throughout this entire movie, she has an accident where she hurts herself, and then upon trying to call friends and reaching out to people, she realizes that she's kind of taken too much stock in extracurricular things in life that really don't matter. And there's a moving scene where she actually hugs the housemaid, and she realizes that she doesn't have too many friends in her life, and the only ones that she does have are people that she never really thought really mattered to her to begin with. The artistic value of this film is very high. There are parts where the director frames certain aspects of the movie, and what particularly stood out to me was when the husband and wife, the African American couple, when they were discussing what had happened when they were pulled over by the LAPD officer, and there was a moment where there's a very wide shot, but the framing, it places the wife in a separate frame, not through the camera's frame, but through the actual house structure frame, where you see two doors and two windows, and you can see the wife in one frame of the window and you can see the husband in the other frame, kind of symbolizing a split between the two, and they were not obviously coming to agreement on this particular point in time. Depth of field was certainly used throughout this movie. The particular shot that I enjoyed was when the Persian man was walking towards the locksmith, which happened to be Mexican. As he was walking towards him, you could see the gun clearly in focus at his hip, and in the distance you could see the locksmith working at his vehicle trying to get out, and the Persian man was walking towards him, and inevitably you could tell what was about to happen in the scene. It kind of gave you a sense of movement, and it kind of gave you a sense of uncertainty. Was he really going to shoot him? Was he not going to shoot him? The type of shots that were used throughout this film varied. They were either medium, wide, and also tight shots. The medium shots kind of just gave focus to the communication that was taking place between two or more people. And the tight shots really gave you a sense of urgency. It gave you a sense of uncertainty to where you did not know what was going to happen. It definitely sped up the action. The two gentlemen were walking up on it, and it just kind of gave you a grander scheme of what was about to happen. I valued this film very highly in its artistic point, not so much in the storyline, but just in how the director put all of the stories together. It really gave you a sense that there are some issues in America, but not necessarily in America, just in human nature in general.